She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 96. Today is April the 19th. Shout out the OG's mom and dad. It is their birthday. Big Aries season over here, but welcome in everyone. My name is D-Rock, and joining me from the beautiful state of South Carolina, the legend Joey D. Joey, how you doing today, kid?
Yeah, shout out to the other fellow legends. Yeah. Bob and Sherry. Got to shout out the names. Birthday, sharing a birthday, and you're together. I mean, come on now. You can't make that up. That's stuff of legends, bro.
Hollywood can't even make this shit up, kid. But we got a great episode for you guys. We're gonna get into PFL real quick. It starts in about a little over an hour at 7 p.m. here on the East Coast. Got Karate Combat over there in Abu Dhabi. And the big boxing match that everyone is dying to see. Devin Haney taking on Ryan Garcia. And we'll end with 10 seconds left when Joey will get us up out of here. But Joe, let's go on over to PFL 3. This is the third week in the season. It's between welterweights and featherweights, 145 and 170, and no one knew. Prelims go down at 7 o'clock, a little over an hour. Main card starts at 9:30 on ESPN. So, Joe, send it over to you, kid. What do you got?
Yeah, my boy. You know, we're really only going to talk about the main card because I don't think we're going to have enough time to discuss the prelims, but I did drop my picks on X for everything in the preliminary. There was odds drop. You know, I know about these fighters. You know, Debene's taking on Thad Gene. I think Gene's a stud, so I had to go with him. All money line, I'm pretty sure. Tyler Diamond, we've seen him a couple times. He's a tough out, but Otto Rodriguez is also really good. Don Madge makes his return. And Brennan Ward stepped in on last minute to fight him because his opponent originally, Don Madge, dropped out. Staropoli, ex-UFC guy, he's taking on an undefeated Romanazov, and he looks like a killer. And Krizaev's taking on Brett Johns. I had to go with the Welshman there, so big dog in the co-main event slot of the prelims, so I'm taking my chances with him. But, man, honestly, Adam Borix is kind of he was like the Bellator kind of up-and-comer, but he's taking on a game Enrique Barzola. So I think prelims should, you know, be good. I think you should be interested. Should be tuned in from the beginning, from the get-go there. But yeah, in the main card, PFL 3 in Chicago. So I guess you can hashtag it PFL Chicago. I don't know what they're doing on their card and their accounts, but Bubba Jenkins starts us off. I'm pretty sure he won PFL season a couple of years ago. He's taking on a fellow UFC veteran, Kai Kamaka III. You know, Kamaka, he's game as they come. He really is. It's a hard one to decide, but I got to go with the veteranship of being in this league and dealing with what's to come for the rest of the season. And so Bubba Jenkins is my pick, a minus 150. Kamaka is a little bit of a dog at plus 130. So, I think Bubba Jenkins is going to have to, you know, maybe utilize a little wrestling. Kamaka, those Hawaiians, bro. Ooses, bro. They come out there to bang. You know, we've seen that all too well with what happened in our recap on Sunday, recapping UFC 300 last week. We see what the Polynesian cats can do, man. So I think for Bubba Jenkins to play it safe, it's just that if he could wrestle and take down Kamaka, I think he might have a long 3 rounds ahead of him. So on my verdict, I did put Bubba Jenkins via decision, but I have him on the money line at minus 150 because I think it's playable in that first one for the main card.
Hey, we're gonna go opposite sides here. Give me the dog, Kamaka, short dog. I think, like you mentioned, you know, he could bang the Hawaiians, the Usos. They're tough as nails. Should be a very close fight. The odds indicate that as well. He's a freight train, though. He hits like a ton of bricks. I was watching some videos to get up on him and, you know, watch him tape. And I feel you literally took my handicap. I feel like if he avoids these takedowns that Bubba Jenkins can get, and keep the fight on the feet, I think he's live here. So I'm going to take the dog here. I know the experience worries me a little bit, but Bubba Jenkins has kind of been on the slight. He has been caught. And I was just going to say he's on the slight down trajectory, in my opinion. He's kind of past his prime. I think Kamaka is the right side here. I'll go with the dog here.
Hey, like that. It just seems when he does kind of break Bubba Jenkins, it's like choking in the playoffs, like the championship rounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but I think your Flyers live. I really do with Kai Kamaka there. UFC guys, they could show levels when they get into the PFL and other organizations. So In the next match, we're going to welterweight because the previous one was featherweight, as you mentioned. Go to Yamuchi, Brazilian, fellow Brazilian. He's taking on one of the Gracies, Neiman Gracie, and they fought before. And if that didn't kind of show you signs of what to in this one, I don't know what to tell you, because it seems that neither guy is going to get submitted. Both probably jiu-jitsu aces. They could, find a way to get you down for most part for majority of fighters, but two guys, two black belts, it's not likely that we're going to see a submission in that one. And we saw what happened last time out. Yamuchi, stood and bang, and he got Gracie out of there. He got Neiman out of there with the TKO finish. So here's the issue: is it's hard to beat a guy the second time, but I do think Yamuchi has the skill set to win, just maybe not the same way he did the first time. I think Neiman Gracie may come in with a better game plan, maybe a little more defensively sound. And so I got to go with the guy who beat him originally, but I'm going to take him via decision. So give me Goto Yamuchi via decision at plus 175. Not much value on him on the money line at minus 250, but if you're willing to take a flyer, Neiman Gracie as a dog's plus 240.
Hey, we're on lockstep, kid. Give me fight to go to decision at minus 125. Like you said, this is a rematch, one of the Gracies, and the first fight didn't end like we expected it. I think Gracie will be a little more defensive here, like you outlined. So, yeah, I think Yamuchi, the way he just has more ways to win. I do think he has the power as well. But I don't think he gets him out of there this time. I think Gracie, he plays a little more defense, and I think if he can do you think the fight gets to the ground? Because that was my one issue. I think if the fight goes to the ground, I think it's anybody's game.
You could say that, but I think they both know each other's game very well. Without the gi to grab, I wouldn't say that Yamuchi would be out of his element if there was a gi, because I think both of them trained with and without. But the fact that there isn't anything to kind of hang on to, I think it'll be harder, especially in the later rounds, to kind of lock in a submission. So I think a lot of stalemating, if it does happen to get to hit the ground, and whoever's in the dominant positions, like whoever winds up on top, could probably grind it out, like ride out the rounds. And that's why I think your play for either side to win on the scorecards is a fair one and a good shot. So Gracie could do it. Neiman Gracie is good at that, but Yamuchi already seems to have his number, and that's why I went with him with a specific prop.
And unfortunately, I agree. I think he just has Gracie's number, unfortunately. So I love the play for him to win via decision. I don't care who wins. I just want the fight to go all the rounds. So minus 125 fight to go the distance.
Yeah, definitely playable. And now we move into the next fight. And Gabriel Braga, minus 185, heavy favorite here against a game Justin Gonzalez at plus 160. Looking back, we mentioned Bubba Jenkins, and we're mentioning now Gabriel Braga, dude. Where's Jesus Pinedo? Because he was on a tear last year in the playoffs, knocking out everyone. He got Bubba Jenkins. He got Gabriel Braga. And then he got Brendan Lonane, knocked them all out. So Jesus Pineda, the Peruvian, that dude was on fire last year, but we're not seeing him on this card. But we will see a tough Justin Gonzalez take it on Braga. It's hard to see that Justin Gonzalez gets finished. I'm favoring Gabriel Braga all the way. I think his skill set is a leaps and bounds better. I unfortunately do see that. If you look at the past, what is it? 6 fights for Justin Gonzalez, all going to decision.
Yeah.
So it's heavily favored that it does. I just think that Gabriel Braga has more ways to win. But on my verdicts, I put Gabriel Braga to win via decision because I think he can grind it out yet again. I hate to say it. I think the card starts off hot. I think in the middle of it to like the co-main and main event of the prelims, and then the beginning of the main card, I think we're going to see a lot of decisions. So it's going to, kind of slow down. So I'm seeing another decision here. Hopefully, as we get to the last 3 fights, it picks up some pace, and these fighters want to get their quick 6. So give me Braga via decision here, plus 130. Pretty decent odds to take him that way, but I'm taking a shot because I do see his finishing ability. I just think Gonzalez is tough.
Yeah, Gonzalez, tough son of a gun. Like you said, I don't think he'll be finished in this fight. And you got to imagine these fighters want to get a finish in the first round. You need points here. You can't grind out a decision win. It's not like the UFC. So it'd be to their advantage to get a finish. But like you said, I agree. I can't take the fight to go a distance. It's over a $2 favorite. There's no real value there. Love the plus 130. I do think Gabriel Braga is the right side, but I see a minus 175. Not terrible. I would take him on the money line. I think Braga is the right side. Like you said, he has more ways to win. His arsenal's much better than Gonzalez. Gonzalez is a good fighter, but Braga's 12-1. The guy's a beast. I think this is set up nicely for him. So minus 175. I'm going to take him straight up. He's a nice parlay piece as well, I would argue.
Yeah, absolutely. On the money line, 175. I didn't think like as soon as you get to the $2 realm, that's when it becomes unplayable straight up. But yeah, you could just chalk up a little bit more just to play it safe because then you can get it done anyway and you'll be all right. So
yes, sir.
And man, a lot of people are expecting a lot out of 170 here, and it's going to start with Logan Storley. You know, he's a big favorite. He's a $2 favorite, as we just spoke on, taking on Shamil Musayev at plus 180. And like I said, you know, Logan Storley, the USA Wrestling, you know, he can grind it out. I think he's got decent amount of finishes in his career as well. So you could see him, you know, getting the job done within the distance, but it's hard for me to pick a prop with him. And so I took a flyer on this one. You look at the level of competition he's fought, you know, you got a split decision against MVP. So that does say a lot for his career, you know, but he losses to Amosov. We saw that Jason Jackson got the best of him there. And then he beats Brennan Ward. You know, shout out to Brennan Ward for stepping in on the match with Don Madge on this card, but I just don't think Brennan Ward's all that good. And you look at this opponent, man, I think people are sleeping on this dude. Undefeated. Yeah, he has got a draw in his career. Like the second fight prior, fought in KSW. That's the highest level of European MMA in my eyes. I think what they do and the star power they can attract, I think that says a lot for where he's coming from. And he tends to go first round finishes. So he's explosive. And I think that could work against Logan Storley. I think as the fight progresses, it would definitely favor Storley, but man, Musayev could catch him early. A lot of first round finishes via, you know, knockout and submission. So I'm going to take a flyer on the dog in this one, man. I think he's going to upset a lot of people, maybe have Logan Storley on a parlay piece, but man, that's what happens. Don't when you least expect it. Give me the plus 180 with Shamil Musayev to get it done. Cause you know, I'm not willing to go ahead with the plus 180 to just go and take a specific. I play him straight up. You could get it done in the judges scorecards, but on my verdict, I have him catching Logan Storley with the first round knockout.
Joe, we are in lockstep, kid. Give me the dog. Undefeated Musayev. And like you said, I think people are sleeping on him. He had the one draw. Logan Storley, he's good. But like you said, he lost a few of the fights, I think. Not just me and you. I think a lot of the public thought he should have won. Kind of tailed off a little bit. And like you said, Shamil, KSW legend. I think people are sleeping on him. First round KO is very live. I agree, though. If the fight continues to drag on, it favors Logan Storley. Yes. But the first round, he's going to go out there and swing. Give me the dog, Shamil Musayev, plus 200. And I think he puts him out, plus 460 via KO TKO.
I love it, man. And it can happen. It doesn't have to happen in the first round. I was looking at that. That's why I mentioned that specific prop bet, you know, first round KO TKO. I bet if you're getting plus 400 for anytime KO TKO, I bet you that one is probably going double, probably 600, 700, 800 plus.
Yeah. So Shamil to win KO TKO in round 1, 11-1, plus 11.
Woo, big money. So yeah, it was more than double on that. So yeah, if you're willing to take a flyer, we both see it to be live. Being on the same side, it does tend to bite us a little bit, but
not this one.
I'm pretty confident in this one. I know.
Joe, and real quick, I think this could be a sleeper of fight of the night, or at least performance of the night, because I really think he's going to go out there and starch Logan Storley.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I think especially if he starts shooting, like maybe just like desperation shots, flying knees. Watch out.
Oh my, yeah,
absolutely.
SW legend.
Yeah, bro. Now we go into the co-main event slot and we get to return Brendan Lonane. And a lot of people are excited for his return. And I hate to say it, you know, I like Pedro Carvalho, but I think he's I don't think he's that good. I hate to say that because he'd probably kick my ass, you know, but in terms of the level of competition that he's putting up against, it doesn't seem like he's really catching up, you know. He's a minus, Lonane's a minus 500, minus 600 on some books for a reason. Carvalho's a plus 400, plus 500 for a reason. There's just difference in level. You know, he could take Lonane's back. He could find a way to sink in a rear naked choke, but I think that's his game. Pedro Carvalho is a really good jiu-jitsu ace. You know, he's really slick with his submission and his grappling, but I don't see it getting there. I think Lonane's going to want to come back and prove that last year was a fluke, even though I didn't see that because Pinedo was on an absolute roll, as we spoke about. All three fighters we mentioned had fought Pinedo in the playoffs and lost to him. I think there was just no stopping the Peruvian last year in the playoffs. So Lone's going to want to get people on his side again. He's going to want to, prove that he deserves to be back into the finals of the PFL and get that championship back. So to do so, I think he's got to ice Pedro Carvalho early. There's no value on him straight up on the money line. It's even favored that he does get the KO TKO. As I mentioned in the prior fight, it wasn't worth for me to put the specific prop bet, but I will for Brendan Loughnane. Give me the first round KO TKO at plus 310 for Brendan Loughnane. Gets his quick 6 early.
Oh, I love it. Give me Brendan Loughnane, KO, TKO as well, plus 125. And sprinkle on a little Brendan Loughnane to win in round 2 at plus 500. I'm also going to take him to win via KO, TKO in round 2 at plus 600. Going all in here on Loughnane. That's how good I think he is. Those leg kicks, Joe, are dangerous. We know how Carvalho, puts his name, Pedro. We know how,
Portugal.
He's kind of. We know how he's been in the past, and I think Loughnane is going to chop that tree down, eventually finish the fight in the second round. First round's kind of a feel-out round, but Subsetto, I don't like Pedro Carvalho. I don't think he's good. Like you said, he'll beat us up, but at Brendan Loughnane, there are levels here. So, I think he finishes the fight in the second round, and we're getting all great odds here. Plus 125 via KO TKO to win in round 2, plus 500, and Brendan Loughnane to win KO TKO in round 2, plus 600.
Yeah, same side, but different ways. If it happens in the first, then I'll hit. But if it does make it to the second, I don't think it gets out of the second. So, I like your picks. I do think that Brendan Loughnane gets either the quick 6 or he gets what's the 5 called? Fast 5 or whatever. Not the movie.
Fab 5.
Yeah, Fab 5. All right, cool. Michigan. Sorry.
Yeah.
Team up north.
Yeah. Thank you.
But we made it to the main event of PFL Chicago, and I'm glad they're back. I like when they move the card around, not just strolling keeping it in Vegas, and especially if they are in Vegas the same weekend as the UFC. I guess it's like competition. As long as they don't do it on the same night, it may be fun for us fight fans to go for a weekend of combat sports. You maybe on the same weekend as like if there's like submission grappling, like any promotion that's going on a Sunday, maybe you can get Friday PFL, Saturday UFC, and then you can get your grappling in on a Sunday and have a full weekend of combat sports, or even if there's kickboxing, whatever it is. So I think we're in for a good one when it comes to the main event. I think a lot of people are going to side with Andrei Korshakov, even though he's a dog at plus 140, but he's taking on Magomed Umalatov at minus 125. And I think he's going to want to defend the, PFL name in this one, Umalatov. Korshakov's coming from Bellator. He's got that knockout power. He's explosive, and he's been around the block a couple times. He's got a pretty stout record, 27-4. Only the who's really beat him. Like Douglas Lima got him twice out of there, so he's had his number. Ben Askren back in the day, you can't really consider that because that's 10 plus years now. But you could, like I said, he's been fighting for so long. He's got the redemption against Lorenz Larkin when Bellator fought Rizin last year. And he's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's on a 5-fight win streak. So, yeah, I mean, Korshakov could be live in the main event. But, man, I think Umalatov at the undefeated record says a lot. And who's he fought and how he's got it done. Granted, it was a dominant decision last year to win. But knocks out Delano Taylor, knocks out Al Sawali, who made his debut in the UFC. So showed that he's very talented. I like Umalatov in this spot, especially it's going to be surprising. Normally I think if you are the guy with the forward pressure, you're going to be able to, be the hammer, not the nail. I think Umalatov could work that into his favor. If Korshakov's pushing forward, I think Umalatov could counter him and hit him with some power. So I think off his back foot, Umalatov's sweet. And he can also use that counter wrestling and, maybe get him out of there, but also win the judges' scorecards. That's my play of minus 125. I got Umalatov straight up on the money line. I think that's playable, but I did take him to, like I said, after Korshakov comes in hot in the first round, catches him on a counter and knocks him out in the first round. I got 3 consecutive quick 6s in my verdict predictions, but I have 2 straight up plays minus the Loughnane first round KO TKO. So yeah, Umalatov minus 125 money line.
Yeah, give me the favorite, Umalatov. I got minus 135 2 nights ago, but he's ballooned up to a minus 165. It is getting up there in price. And And for good reason. I do think money is coming in on him for a reason. I think he is the better fighter. You did mention Andre, Andre, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. He, coming from Bellator, I agree. He has to avoid that first round fury because I do think Andre is going to come at him. But if he avoids the power at all costs, let's not forget Umalatov has power as well. Like you mentioned, he has a knockout on his record. He's undefeated. And the way he wins, he just has more ways to win. He's dominant. And I think what you mentioned could be the X factor in this fight is the wrestling. If they want to stand and bang in a phone booth, I think Umalatov could use his wrestling, grind out a gutsy win. Should be close. But I do think the line movement is correct. I'm going to take Magomed Umalov, the favorite. Minus 165, it is getting up there, but I do think under, like Joe said, anywhere under minus 195, I think is still playable.
Yeah, I think people were on top of it as soon as the lines drop. So that's why you got to catch them early. Sometimes when you think that you're going to bet a dog, it's best to catch them late because maybe the line, makes those underdogs even heavier. So, but yeah, if you're looking for favorites, you want to catch them as early as possible. But yeah, that'll do it for PFL 3, Chicago. And like I said, I'm glad they're out there, and hopefully we'll see what's in store for the next one because I haven't seen them drop the location. I'm guessing it's gonna be back in Vegas, like they've done back to back. They go one place, they come back to Vegas, they go to another place, they come back to Vegas. So.
Yeah. Joe, Karate Combat, what do you got, kid?
Oh, you wanted to go right into Karate Combat. Let's go. Let's do this. Man, I'm excited for this in Abu Dhabi. KC 45, man, slowly creeping up for, the fanship. Like, they're 45 events already for this promotion. I think they're doing all the right things, to be honest with you. I just wanted to compliment them. President Awesome, leading the charge. He's got a great commentary crew. Shout out Big Mike. GSP as always, Boss Rutan, legends, absolute legends. So they got the guys who, they're big advocates of karate, and not only are we getting the karate fights, but we are getting some pit submission as well. Ozma Almorai, he's on the card. I got a signature from him and one of my stuff. Kanan Duarte, he's taking on Puya Ramani. Heavy favorite on Kanan because he's definitely heavy pressure player. He's sick with his jiu-jitsu. He's, gets in the submission and just kind of rips him. Be careful. Might as well tap. You don't want to rip your shoulder out or anything like that. And then, of course, Craig Jones leading the charge against Hinat Fakhretdinov. Last time we saw him, he had an exciting fight. But, how could you now favor Craig Jones in the pit submission there? Maybe a flying triangle again?
Maybe.
But, yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of good fighters on this card. I'll be honest. I would definitely say to tune in to the entirety of this card because they're going to put on exciting fights, and it will be taking place tomorrow. I'll be honest with you. I know we're going to get into it next, but I'll be honest. You would rather watch this card throughout than the Haney Garcia card. I'll be completely honest with you. Yeah, the card itself. Maybe the main event. I bet you KC with their pacing will probably get to the main event a lot quicker than they would with the boxing pacing as we get. So you'll be able to watch both main events tomorrow, but I digress. Raymond Daniels is also a featured bout on this card, taking on Edwin Farrell. He's a legend, kickboxing legend. Raymond Daniels is, and already 3-1 in Karate Combat. Luis Rocha, champion, taking on Mirzabek Tubayev in a co-main event slot. That should be an exciting fight. But we're all here for a reason. We're here for the main event, and I'm glad they announced it when they did, so we can get a lot more eyes onto it to those that aren't aware and are as degenerate as we are when it comes to combat sports. But man, Luke Rockhold, I've seen him at a minus 200 on the books, taking on Joe Schilling at plus 160. And, Luke Rockhold, he's got that sick kicking ability. That question mark kick is like butter when he throws it up there. And we saw him last time with Mike Perry when the bare knuckle boxing. It was kind of out of his game. I think he was the one that this kind of style of fight would suit him better than just bare knuckle boxing. I think he was out of his element there. So I think you're going to see a lot better Luke Rockhold in this one, but he's taking on, man, a legend, kickboxing legend, K1 Glory. I mean, Joe Schilling, he's also collected a lot of belts. He's been a champion on a lot of kickboxing promotions, and I like the dude. I always like Joe Schilling a lot. And if you haven't seen the weigh-ins they had the face off, Luke Rockhold was like coming close, and Joe Schilling just puts away. He's like, nah. He's like, nah. He didn't want to. He's like, don't. I can't let you get close.
It's like Chael Sonnen said. Sometimes I can't let you get close.
Exactly, bro. So I'll be honest with you. I know he's a dog on the books, but he's also a dog in real life. I got to go with Joe Schilling based on the pedigree, based off him being in these type of combat situations more often than Luke Rockhold, where he could have utilized his wrestling because he was a very heavy wrestler. When he caught Weidman back in the day for the championship before losing to Bisping, Weidman threw that spinning kick. So he might be aware of it, but it's the fact that he was able to use his wrestling and dominate and finish him ground and pound on the ground. But yeah, I don't see that that's not going to be a possibility. There's a 3 seconds ground and pound limit in this type of rule set. I don't think Joe Schilling's going to even look for a ground and pound. I think Luke Rockhold, if he finds a way to get Joe Schilling down, he'll definitely try to utilize some ground and pound. But I feel like Joe Schilling can get in his head where he's like, hey, I knocked you down. He's like, get up. And Luke Rockhold's going to have to get up. And I do feel like we're going to see Luke Rockhold get dropped a couple times, or it might surprise me and knock Joe Schilling out. Joe Schilling has been chinned a couple times. They're also both up there in age, so that's always plausible. But both look hydrated, both look ready to fight in Abu Dhabi. I think it's going to be an exciting main event. So, like I said, I'm taking Joe Schilling with the experience, based off the experience at plus 160 as a dog. I think he's live. I really do.
Let's fucking go, Joe. I appreciate that. Big thing for Karate Combat. The president, like you mentioned, do you expect them to eventually come, maybe not this year, but come and have an event here in the States?
Yeah, they have. I just don't know if they were like invite only. Remember the Rick Ross's backyard?
Well, yeah. So they got commissioned his mom's house. He got a fight. It was crazy.
Yeah,
in
President
Florida.
Austin's house, or was it Rick Ross's?
No, it was his mom, President Austin. Yeah. So he said he's working on the Middle East and Asia, but obviously wants to come here into the States eventually. And we see one getting events here now in the States. So maybe early next year.
I would like to see it. Maybe that, they get a couple more events going on for this year and build up the viewership more. And come over to the States and put on a public event, one that, we don't have to have like the cops involved or it has to be in someone's backyard. One that, I honestly think if they put on a good card, you could possibly sell out an arena. Or if they want to stick to what they've been going, they make sure that the weather's correct, maybe put a rain check on tickets if there does happen to be a rain out or something, and keep it outdoors. Cause I think that vibe is sweet. We've seen a couple WrestleManias outdoors, and I know the UFC doesn't like the outdoor arenas, but man, if it's a perfect weather day, why couldn't you do an outdoor arena or stadium? So
it looks sick.
Karate Combat wants to utilize that and be different as they are. Shout out Robin Black, shout out all the commentators and analysts that they have. I think they're doing a great job, and I would love to see it.
Yeah, I would too. It's, it's the weather. God forbid it rains. And I think that's the big thing. But outside of venues are sick. Just look at WrestleMania. Yeah, it was a little cold, but the vibes were immaculate. Before we get to this Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market. Hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or watching PFL, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, let's get to it. The much anticipated boxing match between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Garcia missed weight by 3 pounds. Fight is still going on, and if I'm being honest, I'm shocked that the fight is still happening. I don't know if you saw the weigh-in afterwards, but Ryan Garcia chugged a bottle of beer at weigh-ins. I don't know if this. I don't know if this is a facade. I don't know if this, because he's never acted like this. But I think after that Tank Davis fight, I don't know. He's just been spiraling, and I truly don't know. Like, I want to know if Oscar De La Hoya and all the promotion, do they have his best interests at mind? Because if
Say,
he goes out there,
is just as bad, bro. He's like the Coke King.
he's been sober for years now. Let's not disrespect the legend, please. Exactly. Golden Boy. They just made a documentary about him. But no, I feel like if people are actually concerned about his well-being, they wouldn't make him go through this fight. If he goes and gets knocked out, which is a chance, by Devin Haney tomorrow, I don't think we see Ryan Garcia ever again. Like, that's my hot take.
Yeah, no, absolutely do. Especially if he gets knocked down. And that's what I have. I have Haney getting the knockout at plus 160.
Wow.
I'll just get that out of the way quick because it was, I don't think it's a facade. I really have gone, I'm going to go for the record. I feel like, you're right. He's been spiraling after the Gervonta Davis loss. Tank, got him and hurt him and dropped him and finished him. And it's like he's never recovered. It's like he lost his identity as being that, like, the second coming of the Golden Boy, like, the undefeated guy, King Ryan. How could you be king when you're not even just second? You're not even third now. It's like you're taking a backseat altogether and very well be kicked from the sport because the promoters don't see any way of promoting. It's just like people want to see it just to see if he's actually going to, like, be there to fight. I'm worried that he doesn't even get out of the first round. I know that's crazy to say, but how is his mental? You know what I mean? Like, is he going to be there and wherewithal? I mean, we've seen him, like, do the boxing and throwing the mitts. Like, he's still Ryan Garcia. Like, he's still quick. He's still, I think he does have that punching power, but the antics, I like you said, I don't know if they're genuine or if there's something going on behind the scenes. He's like hanging out with like porn stars and prostitutes, and it's just a mess. It really is, man. It doesn't look good for, like, his family. You want to, like, honor your legacy by holding yourself to a certain standard. And it's like everything that he's built himself up to, he's also destroying it. So, the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it certainly was destroyed in one. And that's what you could see in this one. If Devin Haney knocks him out, that's 2 back-to-back knockout losses, regardless if it's to the body or to the head. It doesn't look good for him. And how could you promote a guy with 2 losses on his record? I know it's Ryan Garcia, but he might need to hand out from, like, Jake Paul, if he gets this loss.
If he goes that route, Joe, that's a bad look.
Yeah, and I agree. But that's what, Ryan Garcia is going to need to do. He's going to need to go, like, the influencer route in terms of, like, maybe have a card on the stream, like his own. I just don't know who's going to tune it. He's like I said, you said, he's very much lost for cause if he loses this fight. And that's what I see happening. Like, I don't see any path of victory for Devin Haney. He's too slick. He's going to avoid all the power shots. As the fight progresses, it's going to favor Devin Haney. He's better as the fight gets in later in the rounds. It's just about him showing maybe some knockout power that we haven't seen from Haney before if he does catch him early. But I'm saying maybe a 7th or 8th round knockout from Devin Haney, to be completely honest, because, like I said, as it gets later in the fight, it definitely favors him. He makes the octagon his like playground. The octagon. He makes the ring his playground, the squared circle. He really does. Devin Haney does. In terms of the boxers that we see today, he's probably one of the more skillful ones. I think we as fans do want to see him get a knockout finish, and this will be a perfect time to do so. He's $1.5 million rich already. Garcia lost that bet, saying every pound that he misses, he give $500,000. And his dad, you said it.
What a fool!
Don't do it. And it's like they knew that he was going to miss weight. So, like, what about he had a whole day from that point to cut the 3.5 pounds. That just shows, like, his head's not into it. Like, the dedication that you have, he was going up the mic saying that he was, and you've proved otherwise. Your antics prove otherwise, that you say you're ready, but you are. Actions speak louder than words. So I'm worried for the kid. He comes out and says that he's seen stuff that no one should seen. I don't believe it. It's hard to believe. I don't know. It's a difficult pill to swallow, to be completely honest. I wished well for the kid, but this is Devin Haney's fight to lose. I think he can get it done any way he wants. I think we would hate to see this fight go all 12 rounds, because especially if he's making it look easy and Ryan Garcia isn't even there to fight, then it's a snooze fest. So what would be nice is to see Devin Haney close the show, get a knockout finish, and show that he's ready to fight Tank Davis next, because that's the fight I think we all wanted to see. But I think that Haney needed to get one more under his belt. So, yeah, my bet is the Devin Haney via KO, TKO, or disqualification. Maybe Garcia is completely out of his mind and gets himself disqualified.
That would be better for TV as well.
It would be better for TV, and that would be plus 160 hit for all of us.
Oh, man. Ryan Garcia, he was a man of his word. He did pay the 1.5 million, which was very telling. And that told when his dad was saying, Ryan, that was all you needed to know. He wasn't going to be on weight from last night. He says, quote, I feel great and I got the 3-pound advantage. Ha ha ha. Winners do whatever they want to do. I'm still sharp. Someone goes, and no belt, because now the belt is off the line because he missed weight. He said, congrats, dummy. He goes, belts don't feed your family, pussy. I love it.
Year after this would.
I mean, I got the same play as you. This is going to be the 7th time they fought. They fought a bunch when they were amateurs. Who will finish the story? That's the theme this year. Who's going to finish the story? They actually split the 6 fights. They both went 3-3.
Like and he finishes.
Exactly. Over under is at 10.5. Overs -180. Under is +140. And I'm going to go under. Under 10.5 rounds at +140.
Nice.
Like you said, I think this is Devin Haney's fight to win. He's the more technical boxer. He's the more skilled for boxer. And I think as the fight prolongs, I think it just favors Devin Haney. She's just going to pick him apart round by round. So yeah, I hope it's not a snooze fest. I hope Ryan Garcia goes out there and tries and just doesn't collect a paycheck. I will say after the Gervonta Davis, he did come back and get a knockout win against Oscar Duarte. Thank you. So he did get back in the winning circle, which I thought was a tough fight for him. He did come out there.
He was losing that fight, to be honest with you. If you look back,
and he came out,
fight,
and he came out in the 8th round with the left hook. That's what he needs. He needs that left hook. That's what he has. So I don't think Devin Haney is going to allow him to even get that close, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, shoulder roll all day. I really think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Devin Haney eventually gets him out 7th, 8th, 9th round. And I'm going to go under 10.5 rounds at +140. So 2+ plays. And I had a question for you because you said he's one of the most skillful boxers. And in my pound for pound rankings, I have Devin Haney at number 5. Is he a top 5 pound for pound for you?
Yeah, I would agree. So I think you would probably argue Inoue or like Bivol, maybe 1 and 2, right? Or no, Bud Crawford. Excuse me. But Bivol would be up there. Bud Crawford deserves the number 1 spot. Anyway, doesn't fight as high a level competition as Bud has come across.
Doesn't matter though.
But he's spectacular. So yeah, 1 and 2, maybe 1A, 1B. But,
I'll name you my 6 real quick. Obviously, the first one is Terrence Crawford. Second is Inoue. Third is Alexander Usyk, because I think he will beat Tyson Fury. 4 is Canelo. 5, Devin Haney. 6, Demetrio Bivol. 7, shout out Jersey. I had to put him up there. Shakur Stevenson. 8, Archer Beterbiev. 9th, Gervonta Davis. And 10, Jesse Rodriguez. So.
Yeah,
I had to put Devin Haney up there.
I just don't see, like, in my pound for pound, like I regardless of Canelo being able to fight at multiple weights, I just don't see how Bivol could be ranked below him if he beat him, and convincingly too. It's what you get when you try to move up in weight, and the shout out Canelo for doing so. But Bivol bested him throughout those rounds, and he was hurting him. So that's why I would have Bivol ahead of Canelo. But yeah,
that's fair.
I would see Bivol at 3. Canelo at 4, and then I might put Haney at 5, and then that fight between him and Tank needs to happen to confirm rankings. So
yeah, Devin Haney, when he goes out there and wins tomorrow, he has to call out Gervonta Davis. He has to. That's the fight to make. And you're right. He did lose to Bivol, so
still top 5.
Yeah, and Bivol, I think that fight with Beterbiev
is huge.
Oh my God, it's going to be. Shout out His Excellence.
And shout out Turkey Al-Sheikh, because that's a fight that we needed. We needed the Usyk Fury fight. And I think heavyweights took a hit, because if you saw back in the day, I had pound for pound posted. I had, we see no one even come close to Fury, and his skill set at the heavyweight division, moving like a middleweight, was just so convincing that these heavyweights are, second to none. But as we've seen the time pass, and I guess age comes into play, Father Time's undefeated, heavyweights have taken a back step after seeing Fury, get dropped and caught by Ngannou, and then AJ absolutely ice Ngannou, so that the heavyweight division might be just behind compared to these skillful lighter weight boxers. And I think that's what makes the sport so beautiful, is seeing the science behind it, seeing the young light fighters move the way they do, and show their prowess, because it is a beautiful
Yeah.
sport. And I think boxing's back. And like you said, you could shout out Your Excellency for doing so. Eddie Hearn, all the promoters, honestly, they're doing a good job getting these fights together, because that's sometimes the difficulty is the fighters not wanting to fight one another. And sometimes it is the promoters, but it seems nowadays the promoters want the fighters to get together, and the fighters are kind of saying, no, I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think boxing definitely took a hit, but I think with Saudi Arabia and His Excellency and, Abu Dhabi, I think they're really just putting all the money and just making all of the fights that we want to see. That's the best. I think that's why the UFC is so beloved, because they make the fights that we want to see. We always usually don't get these fights in boxing. So I'm happy that now things are kind of making the change. So great call, Joe. Good luck this week. PFL tonight. Hopefully the boxing fight is good. And Karate Combat. Don't forget about that as well. Some news before we get up out of here. Our boy B. Joe Pyfer, he's going to take on Marc-Andre Barriault, UFC 303, June 29th, International Fight Week. Tough matchup for Joe Pyfer, kid.
It absolutely is. Don't let Barriault live up to his nickname, Power Bar, because that's exactly what happens. We saw Joe Pyfer fade in the later rounds against Hermanson, the Joker. Jack kind of grinded him to a halt. Joe Pyfer has that power, and he could, slam finish you and stuff. But, man, Marc-Andre, dude, as the fight progresses, it's going to favor him, because that's what he does. He relinquishes your power ball and wears you out. But I do see some holes and some tendencies where Pyfer could catch him. And let's see the improvements he's made off that Joker fight, because – you fight that high level of a guy. What was Hermanson like at the time? 7 or something like that, or 8?
Yeah, he was like 9, 10. He was like in the top 10.
But still, that was a huge jump up in competition for him, and you learn a lot from that. You learn more from your losses than you do your wins. I think I keep saying this, but the most notable ever, we see Stipe, now arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time, when he lost to Junior Dos Santos the first time. He learned so much. He became such a better fighter, the fighter we know today also well. I think, Joe Pyfer could learn a lot from the Jack Hermanson loss.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 fights for UFC 302. Rude Boy will take on Zaliki Dos Santos at UFC 302. And remember, I told you last week, Jeremiah Wells at Nico Price will now take on Alex Morono. UFC, they're running it back. UFC 302. What do you like? Like these fights?
I love that fight, but I gotta shout out Randy Rude Boy Brown. Bomba Clot! I gotta go, man. I love, that's one of my favorite fighters, Randy Brown. So I would love to see that fight.
He's a legend.
I would love to see him fight in person. And Nico Price is gonna bring it, and Alex Morono has got that dog in him.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm so happy, but I was looking at the tickets today. Elvis texted me as well.
They're going up.
Yeah, we might wait a little bit till they drop a little bit, but they are bread. I mean, that's what you get when you're gonna go see Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Oh no, I was talking about the A side, kid. My fault.
Hey, both are Ali's.
Yes. Hey,
that's the real A side.
Yeah, literally. For the first time in 13 years, we're headed back to the Ville. Not Bluntville, Louisville. We'll see you June 8th for UFC Louisville. June 8th was a big date where it was either Austin, Louisville was named, and also DC was a name that was mentioned, but they wound up going with Louisville. First time in 13 years, kid. Not far from you.
Hey, I think a little further than you would expect, but that's the type, diehard people out there in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Louisville, I think they have a chance to sell that venue out. And UFC is good at that. So who they put on that card, I don't know. Fights have been announced already for it. It seems that it's coming. It's going to be coming up soon. But man, I expect the Louisville folk to sell that place, fill it up.
Oh yeah. But that's all the news and bits I got for you, kid. 10 seconds left for Octagon. What do you got?
Yeah, unfortunately, one Friday fights this morning only took 36 seconds for me to lose. So the bet I had for y'all last week, they're painless though. It's quick and painless. Yeah. And if you didn't know, besides all the other events in the afternoon tomorrow, Cage Warriors 171 will take place in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, if you don't know, now you know. And then Octagon 56 for the Venkat Flyweight Championship, we got Aaron Abbey taking on Jan Creasy, and I'm going with the dog. So I guess I'm kind of chasing right now. But I got to go with Aaron Abbey at plus 225. Creasy, he has been chinned before, and I think that's Abi's path to victory is to just try to chin him. So, and I know that doesn't happen at 125, but let's hope it does for the bet's sake. Plus 225 for Aaron Abi in Octagon 56. That's 10 seconds left.
Joe, let's get back on the winning circle. Thank you so much. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Kick Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, myself, make sure you guys follow along our social media, X and Instagram at Axe Kick Picks. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Axe Kick Picks live. Hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review, comment below who you'll be betting on this week. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Good luck on your wagers this weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.